Well, hello. My name is Thriss. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm not entirely certain this is what I want your first video on my channel to be, so maybe go find a different video. But you're welcome to watch this one too. And if you're a returning stitchy, welcome back. So, how the heck are y'all? I've been gone, been MIA. I don't know if this video is even gonna see the light of day. I originally was thinking about doing this on my members only because I'm a lot more open and vulnerable there. But through a lot of thought and talking to a friend of mine, I kind of feel like maybe this is an important message for everybody. So here we are. Okay. Oh man, guys, this is hard for me. I'm not a super open person. I don't really like even talk to my family about stuff very easily. So this is really hard, but I've prayed about this, I've talked about this, and I just really feel, I don't know, like maybe this would help somebody or be good for somebody. I don't know. Trigger warning, mental health stuff, just emotion, you know, all that kind of stuff. If you're not at a place where you can handle hearing any of that, total respect, protect your peace, and move on to a different video. Come back, you know, for the next one. But if you're in a place where you can handle, you know, things like that without it bringing you down, then by all means, stay here and hang out. I wish I knew this pattern well enough that I could just do it while talking. So I haven't been around. I'm gonna try very hard not to cry throughout this video. I make no promises. Because honestly, I've just really been kind of going through it. And as a creator on this platform, we often fall into this place where we feel like I can't go on camera if I'm not fully put together and happy and everything's okay. I don't want people to see me like that. And then it gives this perception that everything is golden all of the time. I mean, I think I've talked about struggles of last year. Last year was just a nightmare year for us here. So I think I've been pretty open about that, but I think the image for a lot of creators on here still gets put out that, you know, everything is great because that's what we put forward. And that can start to make people on the other side feel like there's a disparity, because it's like, well, why am I facing all these things? Why am I dealing with all these struggles that, you know, nobody else I see on here is dealing with this? Man, I really need to get myself together. You know, I've heard it. I've been on the other end of that. I've felt that before. So that's why I think this is important, so that everybody knows that, you know, we're all human too. Obviously, you guys know that, but you're not alone. We're dealing with these struggles as well. So I think it's important to, oh no, I dropped it on the floor. I think it's important to put both sides of it out there. I've also been kind of pulling back because there are people who have boundary issues and don't understand that I have a personal life and they're not entitled to it. And it can be scary. People are weird. It can be scary. Anyway, So a lot has been going on, as it will do. You know, life rarely ever gives it to you one thing at a time, or at least that's my experience, is that it kind of is like, here you go, let me give you several cards at once. But, you know, I still try to put a positive spin on it, and like, you know, we'll make the best of a bad situation, and we'll get through it. But I started to find that I was really having a hard time doing that, and I think it was kind of like, I was almost in survival mode from last year with how many family deaths we had, and pets that we lost, and going through chemo treatment, you know, cancer treatment again, and just like the house flood. And just last year was, you know, our ceiling whole debacle. Like, it was a really rough year, and I'm really good about, in the moment, triaging my feelings, compartmentalizing, and getting through it. It's afterward that, you know, then I let it all in. And I think after getting the complete remission, you know, being let known that I was in complete remission, it was like, and then the year turning over to a new year, it was like, okay, I can breathe. And then all that stuff started filtering in. All that stuff, like the emotions of all of that stuff, started coming in. So, like, I've made a few comments before about how I'm kind of weird about death. I am very weird about death. And so I don't deal with it. Like, it's not, like, I don't know. I don't react in whatever the normal, I mean, I know there's not a normal way to react, but like, anyway, I don't know. I think I had put off mourning and dealing with all of that, and so all that started coming in, and anyway, and then, you know, whatever the normal life things that was going to happen this year was happening at the same time. Full transparency, this is a little bit later. I had to cut this whole section out because, my heavens, that would be Gizmos snoring. I couldn't even make it through it. Basically, I had also said that I'm coming up on the anniversary of my son's passing. It's 2 days away, and yeah, that's what this part was. The kids leaving has been really, really, really hard. Well, they got into a car wreck, and they're okay, thank God. But that was really scary because they're 1,000 miles away and there's nothing I can do. And it kind of like hit me that there's nothing I can do. They're very far away. My son and his girlfriend. And that at best, at short notice, if I were to need to go to them, I'm many hours away from being able to get there. And that was kind of like a smack of reality for me, kind of, I guess. Oh my gosh, I tried this new skincare right before my video because I'm trying to feel human today. I'm looking at myself in the camera. It's making my eyes burn. I'm genuinely watering up on my own from emotion, but it's making my eyes water. Anyway, Gizmo's been sick, and that's been really scary. He's okay. We think he just got, you know, Gizmo puts everything in his mouth, and we think that with all the rain and everything, our yard will turn into a lake, and we think he like picked something up from out there. But my best friend, one of my best friends here, last year lost her dog from something similar to that, and he was having similar symptoms, and it scared me so bad. But he is okay, and so we have him on a special diet. It's just like rice and chicken and, you know, sweet potatoes and stuff to help his stomach calm down. But that was really, really scary, and it was very time consuming. But I don't know. Anyway, and our cars, but you guys know the car escapades we've had the last year with this stupid car. It's been this way for years. Anyway, the engine went on it, and our mechanic is like, there's no point in putting any more into this. It is not worth it. It's not a good car to begin with, and it's not. So we are without a car, and that has extremely complicated things. So anyway, it was just one of those, like, it's no one specific thing. It's just like a maelstrom of things. And I've had extreme worry over two of my friends. Dee was in the hospital, and that whole situation was really scary. I couldn't get to her because I'd have been right there. Nicole had a hysterectomy, and she's down, and again, I can't get to her. I'd be right there. Excuse you, big booty Judy. Anyway, it just seems like a lot, and I'm like, no, last year was a lot. This year's supposed to be good, and it's a good year. It's a good year. It could be worse, but I mean, last year was worse, but I don't know. I don't mean to sound like, you know, world's little violin or whatever, smallest violin, playing just for me. But it was just like a whole lot of things at once. But it's, you know, I think it was definitely like not dealing with last year's stuff, just kind of like came in all at once, and then all the other stuff that was happening, it just became overwhelming. And when I get overwhelmed, I hide. I don't mean to. It's just how I operate. I don't usually even realize I'm doing it until somebody points it out. And I just get quiet and I hide. And I'm trying not to, but not only for my own sake, but for the channel. Like, I don't like to hide from you guys. You guys are my friends, and you know, it's not good for my channel, not uploading and stuff like that. And anyway, so I'm trying to get my act together. I'm trying to get uploading again and doing the lives and stuff, and trying to fight that urge of hiding. So basically, I just kind of wanted to explain all of that, and, you know, tell you guys that I'm sorry, and feel like I'm always apologizing to you guys. I feel like I'm always letting everybody down, and that is failing is a trigger thing for me. And anyway, but while we're sitting here talking about life and stuff, you know, the thing that Nicole's going through kind of triggered, I keep picking up my crochet like I'm going to magically be able to work on it while I talk. A subject that I think is really important, and it's something I've been thinking about for quite a few months. I mean, I think about this stuff all the time, but her going through what she's going through kind of re-triggered that. And you know, she had a hysterectomy, and she's struggling with something, and she knows that I'm talking about this, and she's okay with it. You know, that's something I really love about her, is how open she is about mental health. I understand channels who don't want to talk about any of that stuff. It needs to be just a positive place only, where none of that exists, and I think that's great. I think that is really, really good. I think everybody needs to have a place when life is just too much to go and just have happiness, where they don't have to hear about anything else bad, anything else negative. That's why I put a trigger warning at the beginning of this. But on the reverse of that, there are people who are alone. There are people who don't have people in their real lives, or they don't have people who understand what they're going through. And somebody like Nicole gives them a place to be able to go and connect with people like them who are dealing with the same struggles, or at least it's a safe place to vent those struggles. That's important, to vent things. And if you don't have friends or family that you feel safe and comfortable venting to, it's not good to keep all that inside. And Nicole provides this safe place for people to be able to go do that. If you don't know who she is, I'm going to link her below. She is a very lovely, kind person, and her channel is a safe place. If you have, you know, anything going on, like I deal with chronic pain. She does too. And that is a struggle that, unless you've gone through it, you really can't understand. I mean, you can sympathize. You can sympathize. But you really don't get it. And so it's nice to be able to talk to somebody or be in a place of people who genuinely understand what it is that you're going through. That's something that has brought me really low lately. You know, I deal with like my back and stuff, and lupus and things like that, but my knee, I need a knee replacement. And I actually, both knees need replacing. They have for a long time because of my OI. But my right one is really, really bad. And I can barely walk on it. I really shouldn't even be walking on it, but I have to get around. So, the pain has been unrelenting. I'm used to my back. My back still hurts. My body still hurts. I deal with those things, but I'm, you know, kind of used to them. My knee has been so bad. I don't want to, like, it's distracting. And so I didn't want to come on camera gritting my teeth just trying to get through a video, crying because it hurts so bad, or, you know, not being able to move or something like that. And that brought me really low, because one, it's taken me from you guys, and you guys are such a boon to my feeling good, to my happiness. And but you know, it keeps me up. I can't sleep, and sleep is so important to your mental health. It is so important to your physical health. And so dealing with unrelenting pain, and I mean unrelenting, it doesn't stop. It is often some of the worst pain I've had. And I can't make it better. There's nothing that relieves it. And that does something to you after a while. If you have anybody who deals with, you know, chronic pain, I know can be really frustrating to hear it all the time, to hear the complaints all the time, to deal with their restrictions, and sometimes wonder, well, why can't they just pull themselves up by their bootstraps and keep going? Because sometimes you can't. You know, we do a lot of that. I do a lot of pulling myself up by the bootstraps and keep going. I grit my teeth and bear it, and I get my house done, and I get yarn dyeing done, and, you know, I get the dogs taken care of, and I do everything that needs to be taken care of. But sometimes you can't. And as limiting and frustrating as it might be for you, it's far more for the person that's going through it. Not sleeping has definitely, you know, brought me pretty low, because I don't sleep as it is, but that has majorly affected things. But yeah, it affects that person. It affects that person a lot more, because there's a lot of self-shaming and self-criticism that comes into it, because you can never be harder on somebody than they are themselves. And there's feelings of failure, there's feelings of inadequacy, there's feelings of I'm not good enough and I'm not doing enough. I can't get up and do this thing I want to do because my body can't handle it. And you get frustrated with yourself. You get tired of sitting in the same place that you're sitting in. You want to be able to just get up and go and do, and not be exhausted and not be hurting and stuff like that. And then you can see how you feel like you're being a burden to the people around you, because they have to pick up the slack that you can't pick up. And so you feel immense guilt for that. And so And even if they're the nicest person who doesn't make you feel bad about it, you still do. If you're dealing with somebody who doesn't make you feel bad about it, it's way worse. But if you have somebody in your life that deals with chronic pain, try to help them, try to give them grace, because the inner battle that they're having inside themselves is hard enough to deal with. And, you know, I feel like true empathy and true humanity comes from having compassion and attempting to understand somebody else's position that you've never experienced yourself. So, for example, gosh, that person complains all the time. They're just negative all the time. They're just always complaining about their health issues, and they're just always, you know, this, that, or the other, or whatever. Take a step back and, you know, don't have judgment. That doesn't help anybody. But take a step back, and just because you haven't gone through it doesn't invalidate what they're going through. And God forbid you yourself turn around and go through it. You know. I don't know, trying to understand. I mean, wouldn't that be great if just everybody, you know, had compassion and attempted to understand all other experiences and walks of life, even if you haven't done it yourself? That's when we could really, you know, humanity could do pretty well. But anyway, I can't believe I'm putting this all out here. I'm trusting you guys to put all this out there. I don't know. These are just this is my thought stream. This is just my meanderings, if you will. I don't know. I think we're all out here battling right now. And whether it's health stuff, financial stuff, family loss, all of the above. We all have our battles, and none of them are better or worse. There's no measuring stick for this. Just don't invalidate somebody else's experience just because it isn't yours. You know, I'm not saying that happened to me, but I'm just, it's things I see, and, you know, I don't know. But yeah, so, and then kind of the other thing I was thinking about is, you know, the struggle that Nicole, oh, this one might be hard. The struggle that Nicole is going through right now post-hysterectomy, if you've ever had one, it doesn't matter your age. I think we all know the same struggle. Is losing this part of us that has been biologically ingrained in us, that a hysterectomy, making babies, is what makes us a woman. Society hasn't helped that image at all. Nicole had the double whammy of having that, and years ago having to have had a double mastectomy. And it brings up feelings of inadequacy as a woman. It brings up feelings of, like, you know, this is my purpose as a woman. This is what makes me a woman. And I'm trying to be there for her. But to anybody who has experienced this or is going to, and even if you haven't, just in general, what does it even mean to be a woman? What does that even mean? I think there are far more important things than the physical attributes. Yes, as women, we have the upper deck. I don't want to get demonetized. And though they may demonetize this anyway, because you can't talk about women's stuff without YouTube demonetizing you, so whatever. As women, we have uteruses, whatever. But that's not what makes us a woman. There are far more important things than your physical feature that makes you anything, a woman, a man, whatever. And that is how you human in this life. And for Nicole, she is strong, and she is loving, and she is caring and compassionate. She is very talented at her craft and creative. And there's all these things, you know, I've been able to see her as a mother and see who she is as a wife and who she is as a friend. And this is for you guys too. You are not whatever your physical features are. That doesn't make you who you are, and that doesn't make you a gender. You and who you are as a human being and how you are to other human beings is what makes you. So I think it's more important to focus on what makes you a good human, not what makes you a woman or a man. Because what does that mean anyway? But that is a hard struggle. It's one thing to say, I don't want to have children, and it's another thing to say, I can't. Unfortunately, I had my hysterectomy in my mid-20s, my lower mid-20s. I wanted more kids. I've talked about my story with that. I'm not going to go into it here because I won't make it out of this video without crying if I do. But I desperately wanted children, more children. I was blessed enough to be able to have some, but I wasn't done. And I thought about, what if that happened now? I can still have kids now. I'm at an age where I can still have children, but I don't want them. And had that happen now, when I don't want children, I would be very upset still. I don't know. I think unless you go through it, maybe you don't understand. But I feel for her because I know the struggle that she's having right now. And yeah, I mean, I think anything in life, it's different when you don't, it's different when the option is taken away. So that's that's something she's talking about over there right now. And if these are things that relate to you, she's a good place to go. I had things I wanted to mention about Dee, but I hadn't asked Dee if I could, and then I did the video. But she's one of my best friends too. And I will link her below as well. She's a really good place to go if you need a positive distraction, if you need a place to go where you need to just not think about the woes of life and the stresses. It's a really good place to go. Yeah. So anyway, basically, I don't know. I guess my final point, I guess my point was to just come on here and say that if you are struggling with life and with emotions and mental health and stuff like that, I see you. You're not in, I am too. You're not alone. I am depressed. I have a good life. That's not what depression is. Depression doesn't care if you have a great husband or wife or partner or whatever, and you have great kids and You have everything you could need. I have everything I could need. I mean, I need a car, but we'll get a car. Somehow, I don't know how. Last year wiped Andrew and I out financially with all the funerals and the car and everything like that. And so I don't know how we're going to do it, but we will. We always do. God provides. He always provides. But it doesn't care if you have everything you need or want, and if you have a job that you love and you have, you know, a good life. It doesn't care. It can still get you. I'm not somebody who typically deals with depression a lot, which I think is partly why this is hard. Is I'm a very positive person. I find that silver lining. I mean, it might be hiding under 10 feet of muck, but I will find that silver lining. And I am good about, you know, just keeping it moving and focusing on the good, not the bad, and stuff like that. Depression isn't something I've really dealt with a whole lot. So I think this is with everything with my dad, which I appreciate, by the way, everybody respecting my boundaries of not pushing me on talking about my dad and what's going on with him. I very much appreciate that, because it is not something that I want to talk about. I have very confused, conflicting feelings, and that's another thing that's hard to deal with, you know. So, sorry. Okay. I kind of lost my train of thought. I took a break. But anyway, I don't know. I don't remember where I was, and I'm not going to rewind to look back. The video is whatever it is. But yeah, I'm not somebody who typically deals with depression, and so I think that's part of what, you know, has made this a little difficult is finding those coping mechanisms. And up to this point, my coping mechanism has been buying myself things, which if part of your issue is financially driven, buying stuff as a coping mechanism is not really something you can do. So that's been kind of depressing. But yeah, we got to get a car. I have lots of medical stuff coming up. And anyway, so that's just part of it is, you know, learning coping mechanisms that is not buying stuff, and then learning how to cope with the fact I can't buy stuff, which is just utterly ridiculous. First world problems. I mean, that is very much a first world problem. That is a blessed problem to have, and I recognize that. I recognize my privilege with that. And I gotta tell you, I've been having loads of fun using my stash. It has been, look what I made. I will tell you, I have been focused on crochet like nobody's business. I will leave the link to this below. This is the Fastidious and Precise Triangle Shawl by Crystal at Bagode. I made this out of 2 flower cotton cakes, yarn art flower cotton cakes, and now I'm making it again in my cashmere that I got. I showed a community post about it. I made that. I made a bag. I finished that cardigan I was working on. I'm trying to figure out a stitch for another project that I'm going to be doing. So until I figure out the stitch combo for that, I'm working on this. But I have had a lot of fun kind of shopping my stash, I guess. Honestly, it has been a lot of fun, and it's really helped with the not being able to buy stuff. But anyway, I'm very tired and my train of thought is just all off. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and just basically, you know, kind of say what's been going on, and just to let people know that you're not alone, that I do see you, And, you know, just because I don't always, like, put this part of me out there doesn't mean I don't deal with it too. And I think it's important, as hard as it is for me to show this, I hope it helps somebody to not feel alone, and to let you guys know I'm still here. I'm okay. You know, I'll pull myself out of it. I always do. This one hit me a little hard, but so I'm trying to find my way out of it. But I'll find my way out of it and I'll be back. Who knows? Maybe this video will be the fire under my butt to get me to coming back. I don't know. So yeah, that's it. So don't compare yourselves, because I've had a lot of emails about that before, of like, oh my gosh, you know, last year you guys set front row seat to the train wreck that life was for us last year. And I mean, last year was a really, really bad year. One of the worst years I've had in my entire life, if not the worst. And I have had a lot of people say, with everything that I deal with, that I stay so positive. And you know, they mean this in a good way when they say, gosh, I need to get my head in the game. Or, you know, if you're dealing with all that you're dealing with and you're still smiling and laughing and, you know, keeping it going, like, I need to get my act together. And they mean that in a good way, but I feel so bad. I feel bad that that image is out there. I don't want don't compare yourself to anybody. We are all living different lives. We may have similar struggles, but, you know, that's the human experience. But you should never be in competition with anybody but yourself, and never look to anyone else for validation. Never look to anyone else for, am I doing well enough? Am I coping well enough? Because you're you. And you deal with things at the rate that you deal with things. And you deal with things in the way that you deal with things. And right now, I'm not okay. And that's okay that I'm not okay, because I will be. If you're not okay, it's okay. Work your way to being okay. But don't feel like you have to be okay because somebody else is, or you have to be smiling and laughing because somebody else is dealing with what in your mind you perceive as worse. First of all, there's no competition. But don't feel like you're not adequate because you feel like in your mind yours isn't as bad, and they're in your mind doing better than you with coping through it, because it's just, that's not the case. I'll say something, I hope it doesn't sound dramatic or whatever. I don't mean it in a dramatic way, but like, I mean, you guys know this. I've, you know, kind of briefly touched on stuff. I had a pretty traumatic growing up and start in life and early adult life. Well, or not really early adult life, but later teenage life, which was early adult life for me because I became an adult very young. That was a good training ground. And that's not a good thing. I don't mean it in a good way. But that was a good training ground of dealing with what life as an adult can throw at you, because I was dealing with those things as a little child. And I was dealing with those things, continuing to deal with those things as I grew. And I have been in therapy. That was like the best thing that was ever done for me, in my opinion. Being a ward of the state as often as I was and stuff, being in therapy from a really, really young age, I've learned so many coping mechanisms. I've learned how to become introspective, and I think that's very vital to self-growth. And so, I don't know, we all have different paths that we're on, and you don't experience something until you experience it. Maybe you never do. Maybe I experienced something at 7 that you experienced at 45. We're just all on different paths. You know, there's no reason to compare it. So basically that was the reason I came on here. I hope I didn't just completely humiliate myself. I don't know if anybody is even still here listening to me drone on. Like I don't know. I don't know much. But I hope what I have said at least does help somebody. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you I love you guys, and I see you if you're struggling. I'm struggling too. I'm not okay, but that's okay, because I will be. And that I am still here. I am still dyeing yarn and crocheting, and you know, I'm still here. I'll be back. But I'm taking my time for me. And you know, I'm still doing my sub boxes though, because I love that and I need that. But as far as channel content, like, I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm gonna come back whenever I'm ready to. And that's it, because that's really, really important to healing and everything like that. So I love you guys. I miss you guys. I will see you here and again in live chats and things like that. I, you know, I'm usually there listening, not talking, but there's a few of them I talk in. Maybe not much, but yeah, so I will see you guys in the YouTube streets, and I hope you stay safe and stay sassy, because what is life without a little bit of sass? That's no fun. Life is short. Tell the people around you you love them. Give them a hug. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.